The art of warfare.
Hello and welcome to this video and starting and also initiating and maintaining the systems of the AJS 37 Viggen in DCS during flight. The Viggen is a pretty specific aircraft in that it's not a loitering aircraft, it's a pinpoint strike aircraft. So you load up, you take off, you go in, you expend all your ordnance at pretty much one site, and then you go home and rearm. And if you don't take good care of your systems and set them properly for every stage of this, then you're going to have malfunctions of various kinds with the weapon systems or with the navigation system. So what I'm going to perform here is I'm going to start up the system correctly, and I'm going to present and explain why I do the things I do, and then I'm going to take off. I'm going to perform a strike off camera, and then when I come back I will show you how to reset the systems to a state where you can rearm the aircraft safely and have full functionality. So, startup first. I'm going to go with an abbreviated startup procedure here because you don't have to do exactly everything every single time, really. And sometimes you really need to get into the air because there is things afoot. So, main power and also the low-level fuel supply, fuel valve, silence the alarm, everything seems up and running, external lights on, generator, high pressure fuel valve, and starter switch. And while the engine starts, I'm gonna turn on the internal lights, if only for the exotic glow that I get. I'm also gonna insert the data cartridge, and I'm going to close the canopy because noise. Now what I'm looking for during the startup is as the generator starts to provide AC power, the gyros are going to start to spin. You can sometimes hear them depending on how much else is going on. When the gyros are spinning fast enough and everything is aligned, this flag here and also this flag here on the PFI are going to disappear. Now the flight director needles did disappear, but there we saw the off flag here and also the striped flag here disappearing. That means that the system is actually up and running. The avionics system is ready to start taking input on aircraft movement. All I have now is Huvudstol, which tells me to arm my ejection seat, and I'm also going to input the data that I have in the data cartridge. 9099 LS. Let that blink out. There we go. All is loaded. I'm going to go TACT 9 and B2 because I know that is my target waypoint. And I'm going to go back to act pause out. Switching on oxygen, and we are ready to taxi, so I'm going to announce myself on the traffic channel. Milstock traffic, this is stream cap, 1 times AJS 37, taxiing to runway 27. Here we are. Check that the brakes are disengaged and give some power. Start a taxi. Now I'm going to be starting, as I said, from runway 27, and the system in the Viggen actually aligns with how you are moving as you are taking off. And for that to function properly, you also need to set the correct runway heading that you're actually going to take off in. So while we're taxiing out here, I'm going to go bon like downs, and here we see that the first 3 digits here tell the runway heading, and it's actually expecting me to take off on runway number 8 here, so I would have pretty much the heading I have now, but I am going to do a U-turn and go runway 27. So in order to rectify that, I push LS SKU once while still in bon grounds, and now it says 262, which is the heading that I actually will be taking off in. So that is set. Gonna go act pause and out, and my navigation system is now agreeing with me on how I should take off and at what in what heading I should be facing as I do the takeoff. You can also see that I have still got the master mode in bare, because switching it to nav will initiate a bunch of stuff in the avionics system, and I don't want to do that until I am lined up on the runway. So here we go, I'm getting up and I'm going to announce myself again. Mostock traffic, stream cap, AJS 37, taking off runway 27. There we are. All I have to do now is line up, and then I can perform the last system activations. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch to nav, and we see the HUD come alive and the horizon lines match up with the real horizon, which is a good thing. That is almost certainly a dead giveaway that something is off when the line here is either tilted or too high or too low or non-existent. That means that the gyros were disturbed somehow while spinning up, and then you had to realign the system, and that will take a while. Now all that's left for me to do is push the reference button and then throttle up, brakes on, and as I reach military power, brakes off and full afterburner, and away we go. Now, one important thing that is fully automatic will still occur. When I lift the nose wheel off the runway like so, that is when the navigation system is actually zeroed. And what it's zeroed to is in fact the midpoint of the runway. So, of course I'm now a bit off the midpoint. I've picked up the nose a bit before the waypoint, before the midpoint of the runway, which means that the system is a bit off, but it's close enough that I still get a 3 on the turn-nav system, and as I fly over some undulating terrain, that should rectify itself to actually become a 5. So now I'm gonna go away and perform my strike, and then I'll get back to you once I'm done with that and heading back towards the airfield. from the northwest, inbound to land runway 9 Vostok. And setting down, nice and easy. Lead off some speed here. There we are, reversing and stopping completely on the runway. Turning off reverser, and there we go. And as I turn away from runway heading, you see the red light coming on. That means that I am no longer in so-called flight mode, so the system wants me to reset. So what I do is come to a complete stop, turn my master mode back to bear, and now I can taxi into the apron and off the runway. You can set the master mode back to bear while still on the runway heading. If you turn away from runway heading too far, I believe it's 15 degrees or something like that, the light will come on to remind you that, hey, you need to reset here. So I'm gonna taxi up onto the taxiway just a bit, and then I'm gonna make a rearm, and I'm also gonna reset the system for a new takeoff. So if we borrow it here, there we are. Also traffic, streamcab flight has exited the runway, runway is clear. So what I'm going to do now, I have the system in bear mode. I will switch my current position back to LS because I will want that when I take off. And also I'm going to rearm the system. Here we are. I am fully loaded and everything's a-okay, so I'm gonna taxi back out and take off. Now before I do that, again, check Bonagrans. It's still in 262, which is good. So act pause, out, I'm in LS, everything is fine and dandy, so I'm gonna announce myself. Monster traffic, streamcab flight 1 AJS 37, taking off runway 27 Monster. There we are, and throttle up and get the nose back onto the system. Here we are, lining up, and there, stopping completely, and then we switch on nav mode. HUD's looking good. Reference button, minor adjustment. Throttle up, let go of the brakes, and away we go again. And once again, as I now lift the nose wheel off the runway at about 270, there we are. The system will assume that I am halfway down. I am not, in fact, but I'm close enough that the turn-nav system will take care of the last pieces of the puzzle. So I can now switch to my home target point. and as I get out over the terrain, the system should line up. I'm currently 3-0, so I'm getting a rough signal, position signal from the turnout system, and it's not detecting more than 1 kilometer of error. It was actually up at 31 I saw, but right now it's bumped back down to 0, presumably because the radar timber is active. Mosstock traffic, stream kept flight on AJS 37, landing runway 08 Mosstock. Still getting a bit higher here. I don't know if it's the wind or if it's just me. And then back to bear, and that's pretty much it. So to recap, don't move the aircraft until both of these flags have been disengaged and the system is fully up and running. Do not turn onto nav or any other on here until you are lined up on the runway. Remember the reference button, and also as soon as you touch down and come to a complete stop, put the system in bear mode so that it can reset. That is pretty much it for me. I thank you for watching, I thank you for listening, and have a good night, a good day, well, whatever.